Hello, and welcome to my favorite video of the month. I'm Ruby, this is Ruby Red, and today we're playing another round of my TBR game, tic-tac-TBR. If this is your first time encountering my game, the playlist will be linked below so you can catch up if you wish, but the rules are pretty straightforward. Every month I select 9 prompts randomly, I put them into a tic-tac-toe board, and then throughout the month I try to read books that are going to fulfill those prompts. So I don't choose the books ahead of time, I just work them in as I go. It's more of a guideline than a strict TBR because I'm a mood reader. And for every 3 in a row I get, there's a reward. If I don't get any, that's fine. We just try again next month. And if I complete the whole board, I have to choose a book from my 30 by 30 list to add to the board as kind of a challenge prompt. So before we can really dive into June's TBR board, we have to talk about May. So my May board was as follows. Let me scoot over. Okay, so here is the May board. The prompts are a mystery, a book by an author who's dead, a Western, book by a Southern European author, a book of poetry, a book by a South Asian author, a book that was from my shelf, mythology, and a 3-word title. Usually I go in chronological order, but this month we're just gonna start from the top and work our way down. For a mystery, I read The Woman in the Library by Sulari Gentle. I had an arc of this and I read it. It's a mystery about this author who is working on her next novel. She is writing in the reading room in the Boston Public Library with a couple of other people at the same table, and they hear a scream. And then the next day they find out that someone was murdered. And so her and the people she was sitting with kind of band together to kind of figure it out. So that was a mystery. For a book by an author who is dead, I read Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rhys. This is kind of a spin-off of Jane Eyre. It is about the woman in the attic, before she became the woman in the attic. And I really liked that. I really liked the book, not that she was in the attic. Okay, Western, I listened to Taste of Marrow by Sarah Gailey. This is the sequel to River of Teeth, and it's the end of that duology. And it was fine. It was just as fine as River of Teeth. I'm not really sure what the technical rules are that make something a Western. Like, it's not super West, but it did have like big cowboy themes, vibes, but instead of riding horses, they ride hippos. Okay, Southern European author. This one is goofy, you guys. I listened to an audiobook of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, who was a ancient Roman emperor, and that is Southern Europe, so there you go. Then for poetry, I read a collection called Trophic Cascade by Camille T. Dungy, and that was, I don't know, I was looking for more poets to explore who are writing about like nature, and so this was kind of about like maybe like motherhood and nature and also racism, but I really liked it. Okay, then for On My Shelf, I read Devotion by Patti Smith. I thought that this was poetry, but it's really not. It's from the Why I Write series by like Yale University Press or something. And it sort of, instead of being about why she writes, was about like how she writes. So she sort of chronicles this trip that she took and all of the different media and landmarks and books and stuff that she saw and thought about on that trip, and how all of those little things came together to be a short story that she wrote while she was on that trip. So it's sort of like how things in your life kind of just like blend together into something that you have to write, at least if you're Patti Smith. So that was pretty good, actually. Then mythology. I really didn't think we were gonna get mythology, but I read an e-arc from NetGalley of The Scent of Burnt Flowers by Blitz Bazawule, and it had some mythical elements to it. It's really historical fiction with a little magical realism, but the magical parts were actually based on West African mythology. So mythology, there we go. And that I really liked. Great book. Okay, finally, a 3-word title. I read Tarot for Change by Jessica Dorr, and that's a book about interpreting the tarot cards in a psychological, therapeutic way. I've talked about it a million times, so that's the best I can do. And that's it. So things are looking good. As you can see, I almost filled the whole board, but I also had 2 rewards from last month. So I had a freebie and I had a friend can read a book for you. And I'm going to use my freebie for South Asian author, which means we got a blackout and we can carry friend reads a book for you over to June. So someone can read a book for me in June, and I have to put a 30 by 30 book on my June board. So this feels great. I think at like halfway through the month, I was like, oh my gosh, like I could actually get a blackout. This is so exciting. And then like 2 days later, I was like, what was I thinking? There's no way I can actually get a blackout. I DNF'd so many books this month. Oh my God. And then like a week later, I was like, wait, maybe I am gonna get a blackout. And then again, like the next day I was like, oh, that is not happening. And then the next day I was like, it is happening. It's been a roller coaster is really what I'm trying to say, but it was fun. I read 10 books in whatever that month was, May. That's amazing. So feeling good, feeling ready to jump into June. Maybe that's the title. And just like, you know, read some good books. A couple of things. First of all, I was called out in Kayla's TBR video, Kayla Ray Reads. I'll link it below. She randomized her TBR shelf and then called me out to buddy read this book with her, 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. When she first bought this book, I was like, I'll buddy read that with you someday. And then it was picked for her TBR, so now it's someday. And I do want to read it, and I'm excited to read it with her. However, I think I'm just going to put this book into the 30 by 30 slot instead of letting my random generator choose a book from that list. Realistically, if I just randomize it and something else gets put on there, I just know that I'm not going to read that because I'm going to be prioritizing 100 Years of Solitude. So that's that. Okay, so there are 111 prompts still. I have continued to, like I adjusted some, I took some prompts out, I put some prompts in. We're always changing the prompts, and I put 100 Years of Solitude in to the spot where Southern European author was, because that was the last book that I actually read off of my last board. So that's how I decide where the challenge prompt goes. And now let's select 8 prompts. Okay, 43 physical TBR. That's very exciting. I have a lot of books on my physical TBR. Aside from 100 Years of Solitude, I was just looking at kind of a really big book from my shelf that I was like, maybe now is the time. But you know, I'm not even gonna say the name because that's a long shot. I do have a whole bunch of books that I want to read on my bookshelf. I just bought a bunch more books at the end of April, and then I came back from New Jersey with, oh, what did I get? Oh, the Book of Eels I borrowed from my dad, and another book from my mom called The Nature of Nature. So those are 2 fresh options, but maybe I could read like something that is not fresh, something that I've had for some time that I would like to read. I'm not gonna name any other names though. Okay, let's pick our next prompt. 17. Over 500 pages. Shoot. Actually, no. Last month for mythology, somebody recommended to me the book Kaikeyi by Vaishnavi Patel, I think is the author, and it's a book that is based on Hindu mythology. And so I put a hold on it immediately because it sounded really good. I don't remember now what it was about at all, but I put a hold on it like right away, and I just got the hold in. So I have that book on my Kindle from my library, and it is over 500 pages, and I'm honestly dying to read it. That's probably going to be one of the first things I reach for this month. So definite contender there. 99. On my shelf. Wait. Physical TBR and on my shelf are the same prompt? How did that slip through? How did that slip through my eyeballs? I think I'm gonna generate another one because that is the same prompt. Okay, 36. Book older than me. Okay, I am 26. So any book published before 1995 is fair game here. And I might still try to finish Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. That was my book club book for last month, and we kind of pushed the date until mid-June. And I was just not in the brain space of being able to comprehend that story at the time. There's definitely other stuff that I could read for this that is on my like TBR in general, but that's the only one I care to name at this time. Okay, 49. I feel like, did we just have this one? No. Oh, from someone else's TBR. Shoot, I just was watching someone's TBR yesterday and was like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing this on everyone's TBR this month. If I get that prompt, then I can add it to my TBR. Oh, what was it? Oh, well, one book is Winter's Orbit. I forget who that's by, but I think it's like a queer sci-fi story. And I think Martine from Just Martine really liked it and read it, and then Amy from A-Star Reads, it's on her TBR because her mom read it and loved it. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm remembering, and I too would like to read it, so maybe I'll try to get that from somewhere. I think it's also on Kayla's TBR this month. Maybe I'm misremembering, but that is an option, and it's June, it's Pride Month, so queer stories, we love to see them. I love to see them year round, but you know, would be nice. But yeah, if you've got anything like super good on your TBR this month, let me know. Maybe I'll take a peek. 107. 4+ on Goodreads. Okay, so that's a book that is rated very highly on Goodreads. Let me actually just take a look. Okay, 2 options that are rated over a 4.0 that I just in a glance saw are Our Prison's Obsolete by Angela Davis. That's another book that's on my TBR. That's actually on my shelf. I have a copy of that I would like to read. It's a short little book about prisons being obsolete, abolition of the prison industrial complex. So I would like to read that, and also A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall, which I think just came out. Alexis Hall is the author of Boyfriend Material, which I thought was really cute, and A Lady for a Duke is another romance. It's a historical romance with a trans character, and I have a hold on that on my library as well, so that is rated very highly. And again, queer stories in Pride Month, love to see it. 28. Amy's viewer prompt. Oh my gosh, I just added this because every month Amy from A-Star Reads plays her TBR game, which is a game of a bookish life. A bookish game of life? No, game of a bookish life. It's the game of life, but it's a TBR game, and at the end she gets a viewer prompt that her fans can, you know, read and fulfill. So this month I know it was something with a relationship, like either a romantic relationship or just like a strong friendship or some kind of like strong relationship theme, I think was the prompt. So, oh my gosh, what can I read for that? I mean, some of the books that I've already talked about will fulfill that prompt, so you know, I'll just stick those books in wherever they're gonna get me to 3 in a row. I can't think of anything else that's like right on the top of my TBR that is romance or like relationship oriented. I'm sure there's something, but I do hope that I can find some kind of LGBTQ+ romance to put in there, because that will be fun, and that's what I like. Yay! And I'm linking that video below. Everything I talked about, you know how it is. There's always links down there. A book about food / cooking. Yes. Okay, I just posted a video a couple weeks ago, books about food, because that's one of the things I love in books is when they're about food. So I think that there were some comments that had recommendations, so I'll be cross-referencing with those comments to see if there was anything people were talking about that I should read. Okay, I can't think of any specifics right now that are on my TBR, but I am excited about that. It's one of my favorite things in books, foodie books. So if you didn't see my foodie books video and drop a comment there, please drop one here. What's your favorite foodie book? That is gonna be fun. Okay, on our final prompt is a book with a red cover. I don't know, I feel like thrillers. I'm sure I'll be able to find a thriller that has a red cover. Okay, nothing is coming to my brain for a red cover that is like on my absolute radar, but that's kind of how the game goes, is that I just have a bunch of prompts that I'm kind of like, about, and then throughout the next 30, I think June has 30 days, throughout the next 30 days, I will discover some things as the mood strikes me. Okay, so that is a wrap for my June TBR. We'll have to reconvene here next month to find out what actually happened, but those are some of the options I'm thinking about. And as always, I will leave the link down below for a template that you can save from Google Sheets into your own Google Drive. That is the game, and there are some instructions on how to play it, and also, you know, you can customize all the prompts and figure your own things out. It's pretty simple. So I love when people use that, and if you do, just let me know, because I would love to see how my board treated you. And that is a wrap on my tic-tac-TBR. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for every like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you back here next week for something else.